Alabama couldn't stop the run against the Nerds, and they couldn't stop the run last week against Oklahoma. But more importantly, they can't stop a running quarterback. And guess what? Peyton Thorne is our running quarterback. And here's some bad, and I mean bad news for Alabama. He's more athletic than Jackson Arnold. And you saw what Arnold did last week. And if you think for a split second Hugh Freeze ain't going to run those same quarterback design runs that Jackson Arnold did, you're out of your mind. Hey guys, Matt B. Diddy here. Every single year on the channel we set a goal, and the goal this year is to hit 356,000 subscribers before Christmas. So if you like college football and you enjoy our content, consider subscribing. And if you're feeling a little frinky dinky, drop a like. Let's get back into the video. Come on, man. Y'all thought because it was Thanksgiving we wasn't going to post videos? I told you the MBG sweatshop doesn't close for nothing. It doesn't shut down on Thanksgiving, doesn't shut down on Christmas. It hasn't shut down in 6 years, so why would you think it's going to shut down now? Most companies may give you a day off, may cut your hours back a little bit during the holidays, but not the MBG sweatshop. On a serious note, hope all of you had a great Thanksgiving. Hope all of you being safe, having a good time. And let me know in the comment section, what was the funniest thing that happened at your family gathering? I know some of y'all got some funny stories because, well, we know how families can be around the holidays. And I guarantee you, there's one of you watching this video that has that one uncle you never see but one time a year, and it's on Thanksgiving. He gets a plate and he dips. There's always that one family member, and low-key, that's me, because I'm not trying to do any of the drama, ain't none of that, just give me my food and I'm out of there. And oh yeah, I gotta say this last thing I'm gonna say, and we're gonna talk about the football stuff. Am I the only one who feels like Black Friday, it ain't even like a real thing anymore? I remember growing up in the early 2000s, even early 2010s, that was massive and everybody looked forward to it. But now I don't even take it serious because honestly, these companies started these quote unquote Black Friday deals last week. It's like they start the deals earlier every single year. It's not even Black Friday at this point. I went into a store, no lie, it was that 2 weeks ago, and they was advertising, hey, it's Black Friday deals right now. What are we doing? I just had to say that. Let me know in the comment section if you feel the same way. But we got to talk about Alabama and Auburn and all the other games this week. This is the preview video for the Iron Bowl. Goes without being said, the greatest rivalry in all college football. Michigan and Little Bro State is a close second, and I will be talking about that game in this video as well. So if you're already a Little Bro State fan, you might want to stay tuned. Actually, now that I think about it, should we make a separate Ohio State versus Michigan preview video? Because for those of you who don't know, this is a massive game, not just for Ohio State this year, but for this channel. Most of y'all know this, but we have new subscribers coming to the channel every single day. I'm grateful for that. The reason I call Ohio State Little Bro State is because they can't beat Michigan. And I stated this when they lost to Michigan for the first time in the 3-game losing streak. I'm calling them Little Bro State until they can beat them, and they ain't beat them in 3 years. And everyone's been asking, well, Matt, how does Ohio State get rid of that name? It's a simple thing. They have to beat Michigan. They beat Michigan, I will no longer call them Little Bro State. You know what? Let's make a separate preview video for that tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. Outside of that, it is Rival Week. If you're not excited, I don't know what to tell you. By the way, throw all the records out the window. This is the 1 week of the year. If you're, for example, Alabama, you play awful against Auburn and you only win by 1 point, can't hold it against you because it's a rival game. And we know there's going to be upsets this weekend. We just don't know where they're going to happen. You're going to see a huge underdog come out of here with a win. Guarantee it. I'm going to talk about this game briefly, not too long, because there's no need to pander to you guys. I'm picking Texas. Most of you picking Texas. I don't know anyone that's picking A&M. And it's not to say that A&M can't win this game. They most certainly can. But I don't know what A&M does that's better in Texas. I don't think they have the better head coach. I don't think they have the better offense or defense. Quinn Ewers the best quarterback in this game. Texas has the better wide receivers. They're just better at every position. It's not smart logically to pick A&M. And a lot of people aren't sold on Texas because, believe it or not, their best win up until this point is Vanderbilt, the Nerds. Texas needs to prove something, and trust me, they hear the naysayers. I think they're going to come out and prove it. Give me the Longhorns. I can't wait for that game. That is a rival matchup I've been missing for years. I believe the last time they played, is this correct? It's when, was Colt McCoy the quarterback who led them on that game-winning field goal drive? Was that it? I don't know, but that did happen, right? I think it did. Washington and Oregon, there's nothing to talk about. Got Oregon there. This is one of the more underrated games. Arkansas and Missouri. I expect this one to be close, but I think Missouri's offense is going to step up in this game, and they get the win. This is a game that I don't see too many people talking about, but I think it's going to be great. USC and Lincoln Riley versus Notre Dame. I feel like Notre Dame still has a chip on their shoulder, and they want to prove to the entire country, hey, that loss against Northern Illinois, that was a fluke. That ain't who we are. If they go out here and just curb stomp USC by 30, that would be insanely impressive. As where it stands right now, Notre Dame is only a 7.5 point favorite. I expect them to go in there and take care of business. Nobody with 2 functional brain cells is picking USC to win this game. However, I wouldn't be shocked if they do win. USC has the talent to upset Notre Dame. Let's get that straight. There's a reason they're only a 7.5 point underdog. But from top to bottom, Notre Dame has a much better team. Give me Notre Dame. Tennessee and Vanderbilt. This one's a interesting one as where it stands right now. Tennessee is an 11 point favorite. I don't know if you are the same way, but when you see Vanderbilt this year, you see the logo, you see the name, you immediately think of, hey, that's a team that upset Alabama. And we thought they were kind of good, and they somewhat are, but overall, I'd say Vanderbilt's an average football team. They're nothing special. Tennessee, if they play the way I know they're capable of playing, they're going to blow them out of the water. And I feel like people are just reluctant to say that Tennessee or anybody's going to blow Vandy out because they saw it happen against Bama. But now we've seen it. Bama ain't that good of a football team. Tennessee, in my humble opinion, is a really good football team. I think they're going to dominate Vanderbilt on both sides of the ball. Vanderbilt is not going to be able to score more than 20 points in this game. You better believe that. And they're not going to be able to stop Dylan Sampson. By the way, is this correct? I heard Dylan Sampson wasn't even a finalist for the Doak Walker Award. What are we doing? I don't know if that's true or not. I think I saw it somewhere on Twitter. I got to do some more digging and research. But that's really besides the point. The point of this is Tennessee, they're going to smash Vandy. And that's bad news if you're a Bama fan because you need Vandy to win this game. And yeah, that's pretty much all the games. Georgia, Georgia Tech. Nobody's picking Georgia Tech. Just doesn't make sense. Give me Georgia. Ole Miss, Mississippi State. Mississippi State's awful. Give me Ole Miss. I tell you what, though, I do love the Egg Bowl. It's such a great game, and I could be wrong, but I thought the Egg Bowl was always on Thanksgiving. Did they move it? Maybe I'm tweaking. Let me know in the comment section. I could have sworn it was always on Thanksgiving. What's the other game I was saving before the Bama one? I feel like, oh yeah, how could I forget? South Carolina and Clemson, top 15 matchup, and there might be a playoff spot on the line. Whew, this one's a good one, and this isn't as simple as I'm picking a team. We got to kind of preview it a little bit. When I tell you South Carolina's hot, I mean it. They are smoking hot. They got, and no, your ears aren't deceiving you. Get ready for what I'm about to say. One of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. Yes, that's right. You heard me correctly. Lenora Sellers is one of the best quarterbacks in the SEC. South Carolina's rolling. They're hitting their strides, and I love to see that in any team at the end of the season, especially in March Madness. On the flip side for Clemson, they're not what I would label as hot. They just been doing okay. Barely skimmed past Pitt last week. Pitt ain't bad. Barely beat Virginia Tech by 10. Almost lost that one. And Louisville just completely destroyed them at home. And Clemson really ain't done nothing of value all year long. The most notable thing they've done is get blown out by Georgia 34-3 to start the season. Clemson just ain't a very good football team, guys. They're not. They're slightly above average, but that's about it. And the one place where South Carolina has the edge in this game, ironically enough, are the edge rushers. I believe they're going to put a ton of pressure on Klubnik, and he's going to have a long day. And here's the thing with Klubnik. When people are putting pressure on him, he makes bad decisions. When he has all day to sit back in the pocket, that's when he plays great. That ain't going to happen against South Carolina. They're going to apply the heat. And I know Clemson's the name brand, and people aren't used to South Carolina being this good, but South Carolina's been playing better football than Clemson all season long. I believe South Carolina is a legit playoff team with Clemson. No, I don't feel that way. I think South Carolina's going to handle these guys, and they're going to bully them. I mean, if Louisville, let me say it again, Louisville could bully Clemson, what do you think Kakalagi's going to do to them? Give me South Carolina, and I got them winning by double digits. I'll even give you a score. I got South Carolina 31, Clemson 21. I saved the best for last, though. Last but not least, we got Alabama and the Auburn Tigers. Alabama's coming in at a measly 8-3, and Auburn's coming in at a miserable 5-6. But Auburn's coming off of that great win over A&M. On the flip side for Bama, they're coming off of one of the most embarrassing losses in Alabama's history the past 20 years. They got blown out by, at best, average Oklahoma team 24-3. Didn't even compete in the ball game. As where it stands right now, haven't even seen this line. First time looking at it. Hold on. Okay, got it right here. Alabama's favored by nearly 12 points, which is, I'd say, about right. I know everybody's going to have recency bias and say, oh, well, that doesn't make too much sense because Auburn, they played good against A&M. Alabama played bad against Oklahoma, but come on now. You've seen what Alabama's done at home all year. Whereas Alabama struggled on the road. And let me say this before we go any farther. If this game was at Auburn in Jordan-Hare Stadium where witchcraft happens, I believe Alabama would be in a heap of trouble. And it's for one reason and one reason only, guys. There's witchcraft in that stadium. I can't emphasize it enough. You can feel it through the TV screen. You ain't even got to be there. And it's kind of weird I say that because the last 2 times Alabama has played Jordan-Hare Stadium, it's been 2 of the craziest comebacks in Alabama history. You had the Bryce Young 99-yard touchdown drive with 0 timeouts, and you know what happened last year, the 4th and 31. But this year it is in Alabama, and when Alabama plays Auburn in Alabama, as of recent, it's been a piece of cake. I believe the last time Auburn won in Tuscaloosa was the comeback in 2010. I do believe that's right. Am I missing a year? I don't think I am. But anyways, getting back on track here, Auburn, and I've said this all year long, they are not as bad as their record indicates. Especially early in the season, they gave like 3 to 4 games away just because Peyton Thorne's awful and he throws the ball to the wrong team. Auburn's problem the entire season has been the quarterback position. If they had a real deal quarterback, they probably could have went 10-2 this season. But since they don't, they got Peyton Thorne, they went 5-6. And they've had some other struggles. The defense hasn't been amazing, but when you look at their losses, the defense is still playing okay. Outside of the last game that went into 4 overtimes, the most points Auburn has given up this year is 31, and that's to Georgia. That is insanely impressive when you think about it. It kind of gets lost in things because Auburn overall just hasn't been a good team this year, but against California, they only allowed 21 points, and I believe that's the game where Auburn had 5 turnovers. It might have been 6. Against Arkansas, they had 5 turnovers in that one as well, only gave up 24. And in Oklahoma, they were going to win that one until Peyton Thorne gifted Oklahoma a pick 6. Against Missouri, lost that one, only gave up 21. And against Vandy, only gave up 17. I share that with you to say this. This Auburn defense ain't just average, they're good. I ain't going to call them great because I don't think they're great. They're just good. Here's the problem for Alabama. They're struggling, and I do expect their offense to struggle against this Auburn defense. Now that I think about it, Auburn might have a better defense than Georgia. I have a hard time seeing any case and scenario where Alabama hangs up more than 35 points on this Auburn defense. I'm just being honest. I don't think that's going to happen, and more bad news for Alabama. Your defense hasn't looked too good because the defensive coordinator, Kane Womack, doesn't know what he's doing, and Auburn's offense, they're a really good running team. Why does that spell bad news for Alabama? Because they can't stop the run. Alabama couldn't stop the run against the Nerds, and they couldn't stop the run last week against Oklahoma. But more importantly, they can't stop a running quarterback. And guess what? Peyton Thorne is our running quarterback. And here's some bad, and I mean bad news for Alabama. He's more athletic than Jackson Arnold. And you saw what Arnold did last week. And if you think for a split second Hugh Freeze ain't going to run those same quarterback design runs that Jackson Arnold did, you're out of your mind. We saw it last year. Auburn should have won the game until they choked away at the end. What did they do? They ran the ball with Peyton Thorne, and Alabama's defense couldn't stop them. Auburn's going to run the ball down Alabama's throats. Now, whether they want to man up and stop them, that's up to them, and I don't know what's going to happen. And here's another thing. I guess I'm just going to come out and say it now. It's so hard to predict Alabama games, especially this season, because we don't know what version of Alabama we're going to get. The only thing I can do, and it puts me in a terrible position when it comes to picking these games, is guess. I try to make the best educated guesses possible, and the only thing you can even point to is, okay, well, Alabama's struggles have been on the road. At home, they've been a decent team. But even with that being said, they didn't look good against USF, didn't look good against South Carolina, and still struggled against Missouri. Alabama, when they are playing to their potential, which has happened a couple times this year, we saw it against Wisconsin, saw it against Georgia in the first half, saw it against LSU. They are, in my humble opinion, the best team in the nation. But, and I have an astronomically extremely large, very big but, when Alabama is playing like they played against Oklahoma and Vanderbilt, they're one of the worst teams in the nation. They can get beat by anybody. And some of you may say, okay, well, Matt's exaggerating. I'm not. If USF didn't turn the ball over in the fourth quarter, Alabama would have lost to them, and USF is terrible this year. So which version are we going to see? I don't know, but here's my best educated guess. I am willing to bet that we're going to see a very inspired Alabama football team playing against Auburn for obvious reasons. Unless a Christmas miracle happens, Alabama's not making the playoff. They know that, and the players want to go out on a bang. They want to beat Auburn, your in-state rival. I think Alabama will put on a decent performance. Now, as to how good it's going to be, I have no idea, just being honest. I think Alabama's going to come out ready to play, but guess what? So is Auburn. And here would be my question to Alabama fans. Why would you think, even for a second, that Alabama's going to be able to stop Peyton Thorne? If they couldn't stop him last year from running the ball, and they couldn't stop Diego Pavia and Jackson Arnold, why would you think they're going to stop Peyton Thorne this year? I think this Alabama defense is going to struggle. Auburn's going to put up points. And if Alabama wants to win, they're also going to have to put up points. And you know what would help Alabama out a little bit? If they handed the ball off to Justice Haynes and Jim Miller a little bit more. We're too reliant on Milroe. Milroe's a good quarterback, but not when you tell him and want him to do everything. We have got to help him out. We've got to run the ball more. That way Milroe doesn't feel like he's got all the pressure in the world to throw a touchdown on every single pass. I think it's going to be a close one, and I'm going to pick Alabama to win this game for one reason only. I think they have the much better team, but they also had the much better team against Vanderbilt and Oklahoma, and we saw how that went. Let me throw this in there as well. Not going to be shocked at all if Auburn wins this game. It should be a good one, and I don't see any case and scenario where Auburn blows out Bama and Bama blows out Auburn. And I know this is going to sound weird, considering I just ragged on Alabama a lot in this video and propped up Peyton Thorne and that Auburn football team. But I'm confident in this pick. Like, I'm confident Alabama's going to win. Not too sure why, but that's my gut feeling. I'm going to take Alabama in this one. 28 to Auburn's. I want to say 24. Let's go 28-21. I like that. I was going to say 28-24, but we'll say Auburn misses a field goal. So, final score, 28-21. Bama wins. I'm curious. Let me know your thoughts down below. But